Hey guys, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from Around Places.
And together, the three of us, we are Markwood Ben's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again, and good morning, boy.
Good morning, Homer.
So, today we're smoking tobacco.
We are smoking
What are we smoking today, boy?
G.L.Pease's Haddo's Delight.
Haddos?
Contains Black Cavendish Burley Perique, Virginia, flavored with brandy, plum, and rum. This is another tobacco from Angela, my Christmas bag. Thank you again.
Whoa, don't call Angela your Christmas bag. That's
From
rude.
my Christmas.
That is rude.
All right, Professor Dickweed.
Sorry, Angela. He didn't mean it that way. Anyway, cool. I'm looking forward to this because it smells great. And I'm going to be smoking it in my Country Gentleman, which has an amber Danish stem, or bit, as they are known, which is kind of a funky combination. But once this thing gets a nice patina on it, I like the looks of this. So,
you know what else was a funky combination?
Swapped it out. What's
that Taxi movie with Queen Latifah and Jimmy Fallon.
Yes, it was.
Funky combination. You know what I hate? When you go to smoke a pipe and you realize that it has a filter in it that you didn't know was there. Thankfully, that is not the case today.
You know what I hate? Smoking a pipe that you didn't know was in a it was filtered the last time you smoked it. And now, not only does it have a filter in it, but it's got a funky filter. Not a good prize. So, one of the things that we talked about a few weeks back was Boy got a book called StrengthsFinder 2.0. That's Strengths, plural, Finder 2.0. And I was so intrigued by that I purchased the book, read the first chapter or two, whatever it is, that they encourage you to read to understand what you're in for, and then you go online and you take the test. The balance of the book is details of the 34 strengths, I believe there are. So you don't actually, you're not encouraged to read all the way to the end of the book. Just those strengths are there for you to understand what your strengths are, and if others, like in my case, my son, take the test around you, you can also go and study a little bit about what they've learned.
It becomes more of a reference book.
So what I found in taking the test, and the test took me about 30 minutes to take, it's kind of interesting. Let's describe the test. Basically, it tells you, all right, you got about 20 seconds to answer each question. If you don't have the question answered, it'll just move on to the next. And so basically, what you're seeing is 5 little buttons that you can click. And the center button is neutral. So I suppose that if you just let 20 seconds pass and it goes on to the next question, it's probably the same as answering neutral. You think? It's just a 0 or what?
I suspect that the test is timed as well.
I said that. 20 seconds.
I suspect that the timing matters as far as your outcome. That if it takes you longer to answer this question, I suspect that also factors into it.
That's possible. So what you see then are 2 statements.
Why is your lighter different than mine?
Because mine is, yours is using Zippo lighter fluid and mine is butane.
Oh.
Mine is a replacement insert.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I like it.
Can I use it?
I don't like the taste of lighter fluid. I don't like the chemical burns I've gotten on my leg from lighter fluid. It's now putting out gas. The moment you flip the lid on it, it's turned on. Now it's gone out. There you go. It's a little bit, there you go. You've just learned what it is. It's
a Zippo. Yeah, I get that.
No, it's a little gentle right now. Should probably crank it up a little bit.
That's cool. I like that.
I gave one of those away at one point.
Where was I then?
I don't know. You weren't watching my channel.
Who does? So, sorry.
So the two statements are totally unrelated. So one of them might be, I'm very competitive. And the other statement might be,
I want to drown a kitten.
I enjoy working late. All right, and
kitten thing is in there.
But in some cases, when you look at the two statements, you're like, wow, I can't decide between those two because I either don't care or I passionately care about both of those things. So kind of the way you should weigh it is if you really absolutely, this one matters and this one doesn't, you click on the little button that's the furthest away or closest to the one you want, and then you have one that's in between, neutral, and the one that you want. So like, okay, I'm more like this than that, but I'm not terribly passionate about it. Then you click the one that's just to the left or right of neutral.
And if it's pizza or steak, I'm totally right in the middle because I like them both. Don't make me choose. Sophie's choice. Pizza or broccoli, no brainer. I'm a 5. I'm all the way towards the pizza.
It reminds me, I should have some pizza at home.
Pizza or hamburgers, I might be one off of center.
What if there's hamburger on the pizza?
I never have enjoyed a hamburger pizza.
I don't either.
All that much. Now, pizza on my hamburger? Yes, please.
So anyway, at the end of the test, then, you get access to 3 different PDF documents. One that gives you a single page for your top 5 strengths. All right. Now, what's explained in the book is the fact that you will find the most success in business or in your pursuits if you focus on your strengths. And while it might be interesting to know what strength number 32 is, it is not going to help you in your success, right? So in all those strengths, as I read over all the strengths, like, I want all of them.
Right.
I want all of them because they're strengths, right? But another thing about them is for every strength that you have, there is potentially a downside to it.
A dark side.
And so there's recommendations on what you might want to do to best utilize those strengths. So you get a 5-page document. You then also get probably a 30-page document that goes into great detail on each of your strengths. And finally, the third document is a checklist, boxes and statements that for each one of your strengths that are really action points. So one of mine, for example, well, let me just go ahead and tell you what I then found. I found out that there is a free app that once you download it onto your iPhone, you associate it with your account, and boom, it automatically downloads to your phone your top 5 strengths. So this one says StrengthsFinder, and then it says top 5 strengths, strengths references, and discover my 34 strengths. So first off, here's my top 5 strengths. Number 1 is ideation.
Ideation? What does that mean?
Well, that's a good question. I'm going to click on the word ideation, and there's a whole page of information that says personal insight. In a personalized insight. It says, chances are good that you may imagine a variety of ways of doing something when you know that your results, scores, or performance may be compared to those of everyone else. Perhaps your desire to be the best or the champion stimulates your creative thinking. By nature, you might search for new and fresh ways to make upgrades or enhancements. It goes on to say that basically you're an idea person. You're the kind of person who on the checklist, the number 1 or the first advice was, you should be in a job where you're paid for your ideas.
And, right? And ideation actually goes beyond that, because people that with the strength of ideation, they like the idea of ideas. So they're the type of people that not only are good at coming up with ideas, but they're the type that you put in a room that bounce ideas off of each other. That when a new idea comes across their table, They want to look at it and look at the moving parts and figure it out. And they get passionate about ideas, even if they're unrelated to what they're doing professionally or anything.
And that is absolutely me. Yeah. I love hearing about other people's things and the way they think and the way they solve problems. I love reading patents. I love knowing how things are made, even if I'm never going to do it. I studied distilleries. I went to a brew on premises facility, and just thought it was amazing. I don't drink, and yet the whole process, I wanted to understand how it worked. Mm-hmm. So, number 1 for me, ideation. Number 2, individualization. Now, I'm a trainer. Talk about a skill that serves me well at work is the fact that I can understand and kind of empathize with people and see, based on their experience, their interests, how I need to change the way I'm saying what I'm saying. I don't change what I'm saying, but I change the way I'm saying it. And that's individualization. Number 3, strategic. If we go to that one, strategery. Because of your strengths, you occasionally demonstrate an ease with language. Sometimes you effortlessly verbalize your thoughts. Sometimes.
Let me give the big picture definition. Strategic is one who is able to see a clear direction through the complexity of a situation. So they can see you got moving parts, and they can see this is the way that we should go.
I should have relied on my individualization to explain strategery.
Yeah.
Next is number 4, relator. Relator, which when I first read it, I was excited because I thought that I was a realtor. Though I'm good at language, I'm not good at spelling.
So a relator is a person who is most comfortable with fewer but deeper relationships.
Does that sound like me?
Yeah.
If I go to a party with a lot of people, I will usually find myself drawn to 1 or 2 people that I then stay with the whole night. Yeah. Not big into the small talk and working a room. I want to get to know someone. This is why when I took a love language test, my love language is it's time spent together.
Quality time.
Quality time. A few of you already know this about me. I adore being able to just go to dinner and sharing some one-on-one time with you. If we ever get together, that's the way to do it. When I was down in Houston recently, I had a very small window of opportunity to meet some people, and we went out to dinner, and dinner was a little bit rushed because we wanted to get over to a cigar shop, and then the cigar shop time was rushed, and trying to hang out with 10 different people at once was very difficult. And as I left that, I thought, number 1, what a great group of people, but number 2, I really didn't get to spend enough time with any one of them. I wanted to spend so much time with Kyle, ghostly smoker. I did get to sit next to Mrs. Skeeter. Had a really good time talking with her. A couple other people, but I would love to have spent the entire night with any one of those people.
Yeah.
Right? And that's me. I'm a relator. And then number 5, although I sometimes think I'm growing out of this, is positive or positivity.
Positivity is a person who has a strength is one who has a knack for bringing the light side to any situation.
I find sometimes I'm critical. No, not sometimes. I'm critical. And that can affect other people's positivity, right? When I'm critical, my intent is to make improvement.
Sure.
Right? I'm not being critical just to be sour grapes, but I notice sometimes that gets out of balance, and I need to focus more on the positive side of the criticism. So anyway, this app is so cool because again, it's free, it's loaded with my own information, and there was something else. I showed this to one of my coworkers, and I'm sorry you can't see this. Right alongside of those 5 words are colors. And he said, what are the colors for? I don't know. Do you know what those colors are for?
I don't have the app.
Okay. If we go back and click down here on Discover My 35 Strengths, and that's not it, Strengths Reference. Oh, and because I'm in a dead zone here, it's not, dang it, not going to work. All 34 strengths are there. You can click on any one of them. It gives you a paragraph worth of information. But if you click on domains, it shows you that there are 4 groups of strengths. I have 2 of those, of my top 5 strengths.
Fall into 2
They fall into 2 of those categories. And when I saw that, it kind of depressed me a little bit for a moment. And I'm thinking, gosh, I wish I were more well-rounded than that. But the other side of that is, no, I'm more focused. Right. My strengths are here, and that's what I should be focusing on. Now, one thing that was really interesting to me was hold on a second. One of my top strengths said in the checklist, it said with ideation, you should absolutely be conjoined with an activator. You should be working with somebody who is good at pulling the trigger and making things happen. Because the negative side of ideation is you can be a person that gets into analysis paralysis, and that can happen to me. And so, boy, what are your 5 strengths?
That happens with strategic as well. Well, before we move to mine, let me see yours again, too, and show them kind of how the grouping matters. So you've got ideation and strategic. They've grouped by color, and that's exactly how I would group them. Because ideation, you pull in ideas, you like ideas. Strategic, you see ways through the ideas. So that's both of those are dealing with ideas and circumstances, while the other 3 are grouped individualization, relator, and positivity. Those 3 are people attributes. Yeah. Those are ways that you relate to other people. Most of these don't have a mirror. Individualization has a mirror, and it is individualization's mirror is here, take that. I got that for you. Connectedness, and that's one who seeks to unite others through community. So there are people that when they look at a crowd, they can hone in on individuals and say, hey, look, you should be a part of this organization, a part of this business, a part of this team, because we're all in this together, and we're all a part of this team, and we're all fighting the good fight. Individualization people look at this person and say, hey, you have these special talents that could be used as a part of this team, but you're unique, and you're unique, and you're unique, and together our uniqueness can work in harmony. And so those are 2 that kind of balance back and forth. So mine are almost completely people driven. My top strength is individualization. So we just talked about that. My second is strategic. And so far, Homer and I have 2 out of 5 in common. My third is activator.
I need an activator.
Hey, look at that. So activator, because we haven't talked about that yet, it's pretty much exactly what it seems. It's someone who starts something. Someone who pulls the trigger and says, hey, let's do this. Let's stop talking about it. Let's do it. My fourth strength is woo, W-O-O. The description for that is one who is able to easily persuade, or short for, win others over. And so when you look into the longer list of what that is, the longer description, basically, people with woo don't know strangers. They can make friends and hone in. They can make friends with people just immediately, or they can persuade them through just getting to know them, winning them over to your side of thinking. My fifth is positivity. So we have 3 out of our 5 in common.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And one of my coworkers took this test and has 5 completely different ones. Because my concern was, okay, is everybody getting the same ones or similar ones? But, I raised this kid, and so there's got to be some either nature or nurture involved in this.
And it's not going to be a surprise to you guys that we're about 3/5 the same person. Allison, my wife, hers are totally different. We don't share a single one in common. Hers are all academic. So she has, her strengths are learner, one who's constantly challenged to learn things. Intellection, one who enjoys thinking about things and they enjoy thought-provoking conversations. Input, one who's constantly collecting information. All of those are hers. So hers are all academic. They're all about give me more information. And the danger, the dark side of people with those skills is they learn everything, but they hoard that information sometimes. So they have to partner with people that can put that out. So there's one that's historic or history, and those are people that love learning things from the past. Well, they recommend that you partner with someone that has futuristic as a strength, because futuristic is someone who can see how things today relate to things that are coming up in the future, and so that helps the person with the history.
I remember being
not
asked.
Get stuck. In the
I was
past.
asked. One of the questions was, "I'm excited to learn about history," but the other question was, "I'm excited to learn about how things work," or something like that. And I had to go neutral on that because I like both of those things. And in fact, when I learn how something works, I want to learn how it got to that and what didn't work and things like that. So history to me is a really important part of that.
Yeah. So if you look at my strengths, strategic is the only non-person, non-people focused strength. And the way this plays out in my life with individualization and woo together and positivity together, those 3, I am able to make friends, very quickly, hone in on things that are unique about a person and view those things and express them positively to people. So people love me.
Gosh.
And then
it's a good thing we have a wide door over here.
And then when you couple that with Activator, where it becomes a little bit dangerous, is
you could be a cult leader. Is what
kind
you're saying.
of basically, yeah. Where it does become dangerous is I'm able to persuade people to my way of thinking and activate something and say, hey, look, this is a great idea. Let's do this. The problem with activators is it's the activation part. We've talked about this before. It's the activation part that's exciting. So as soon as the activation is done, it kind of gets boring and I lose interest. So there are times where I'll say, hey, let's start a club for XYZ activity. Okay, great. Convince a whole bunch of people, get it started, and then I'm just like, man, I don't care. I don't want to go. You have fun. And so that's...
But there again is why I think this is so exciting, and especially if you are a part of a group, any kind of a group, whether it's a social group or a work
church,
group,
community,
to
work.
Get to know one another at this level, and then think of what we could do together as we learn about this. So to me, I would love to encourage you guys to do this. So how do you take the test? Well, there are 3 ways. You can go to the website and you can pay $20 and take the test. Second way is you can buy the book, StrengthsFinder 2.0. New. For $15 on Amazon. And that'll come with a code, one-time use, one person. And for $15, you get the $20 test and you get a book. Or the Kindle book, which we were given some bad information. There were some people in the reviews that said, hey, the code didn't come with the review. Come to find, yes, it does. You just have to be smart enough to find it. Okay? So for $10, you could get the Kindle book.
Really?
And take the test. So, again, I'd love to hear what you guys find out. Put it in the comments. And, they're all strengths. To hear someone else list, I already commented on one person who did this. It's like, wow, what a great selection of strengths. They all are. Now, they all are if we are using them, right?
That's right. That's really then the next step. The next step, after you know what they are, comes the question, how are you using them? Or how are you going to use them? A lot of times you find people are already using them in what they do. But if you're not, if you've been fighting against your strengths, stop it. Figure out what they are and pursue them. Figure out how you can pursue them in your job and your hobbies, your activity, your family life, because you'll find that you're much more successful in those areas of your life, and you're going to find a lot more enjoyment.
The one example that I've used for years and was very excited to see in the beginning of the book, they used the exact same example. They said, your kid comes home from school and they have their report card and they have an A, a C, and an F. And the instinct of a parent is usually, hey, we got to get that F up. Let's get you into summer school. Let's get you some night courses. Let's get that up. And not to say that your kid shouldn't be passing their classes, but let's look ahead 20 years from now and think about, of those three things, let's say that they got the A in math, they got the C in music, and they got the F in social studies. Which of those things are they most likely to be successful in as they think about their careers? Math and music have a lot in common, all right? Where social studies, while valuable, are not going to be critical for an engineer, right? So as parents give direction for our kids, and if any of you have adult children that are a little bit adrift, have them take this test. Help them focus on their strengths, and I think it's pretty neat and powerful tool. I'm encouraging some folks at my work to do this, and we should share these things. We probably ought to graph it out so we can see who's got what strengths, and again, how can we use those for the betterment of our company and to help each other as we go along. Of course, it's the positivity in me that's probably wanting to encourage that, but I just think it's amazing.
Also, cool. Get your spouse to do it. Don't just leave it to your work. It's incredibly helpful to know how your spouse, other family members, anyone that you interact with on a daily basis, what their strengths are, and how you can encourage them so much better when you know that that they have an aptitude and a strength for something. And usually, the areas where we have our strengths are also things that we're passionate about.
Now, El Magnifico, Ramon, made a comment again on that previous video where he said at his company they have taken the DISC assessment, D-I-S-C. And I did that, D-I-S-C. I did that as well with my company 15 years ago or so. And it was frustrating for me because basically what it boils down to, they're testing you and determining which of 4 designations you view yourself. Okay, one of them, the D is dominance, the I is inducement, the S is submission, and the C is compliance. And they actually, our company had us take it 2 ways. They said, this first time we want you to kind of go to your happy place. It's Saturday afternoon. It's a great day. You've had a fun time with whatever it is you enjoy doing. Now take the test. And then they said, you're under stress. Your boss is putting pressure on you to accomplish a task. The people around you are not pulling their weight. Now take the test. And what was interesting about it is I came out one way the first way and one way the other way. And the facilitators of this event separated us. They said, okay, now let's get all the D's over here, all the I's over here, all the S's over here, all the C's over here. And what was amazing to me is there were 100 of us there. and there were 3 of us who were in the S category, and that submission, I'm submissive, that really bothered me. And I forget, it was when you're at ease was the one that they divided us up. Well, that's not necessarily normal for me, because when the pressure's on is when I really thrive. And in that case, I would have been in a whole nother category. And it's interesting, as I looked across the room, the people that were in that group that I would have been in are the people that I really look up to, and who in my company have the strengths that I admire. So I really preferred the StrengthsFinder because 34 different classifications, and all of them are truly strengths that you can build on. So much more valuable to me than 4 incredibly broad and vague categories. So I'm with you, El Magnifico. Take this test. You'll enjoy this. You'll learn more about yourself with the StrengthsFinder test. All right, so with that, I think we should wrap this up. Call to action, though. Get the book, take the test. Share below if you don't mind, because we'd only get better the more we know about each other and about our strengths.
Yeah.
So with that, make it a great week.
Bye, guys.